So one thing I've been saying I need to do a lot more of is reading. I need to read more books, man. And it's not even a case of me not reading enough, because I read loads of like articles, I listen to different audio books, but the whole process of actually picking up a book and reading it, it's something that I used to enjoy. I used to read so many different books as well growing up, and even throughout university I was reading, more particularly because I studied English literature at university as well, and my background is a lot of English language, English literature, a lot of writing sort of subjects and topics. But that is what really kept me engaged, and it helped a lot in terms of me writing content as well, and just having that sort of passion and that interest in writing content and sharing content in that medium as well. But yeah, I just find it so difficult these days with just the effort of just picking up a book and then just starting to read it as well. But that's something I'm looking to work on a lot for the new year, because there's so many different sort of interesting books I want to get into and dive into as well. And, you know, if you have any book recommendations, drop a book recommendation in the comment section down below, and I'll add that to my list as well, and I'll let you guys know. And then if you want more sort of book reviews or any of that sort of content as well, I can do that as well as I get into the process and the habit of just reading more books. But on the topic of books, despite the fact that I haven't read many books as of recent, one book that continues to always pop up in my mind is this book. Let me show you. Ooh, there we go. Hey, there we go. Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers, right? The Story of Success. I've had this book for years, and I've read it a couple of times actually. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this book is because if you are looking to really make a change in your life for 2026, I would highly recommend reading this book. And it provides so much insights into what it means to actually be successful and the actual variations of what it means to be successful, which I thought was game changing. It changed my life in a sense where it allowed me to start to identify different things that are happening in real time, and the reasoning why people end up successful, and the reasons why some people just aren't successful despite all of their efforts and their hard work and what they're producing on a daily basis. You know what I mean? The thing that really provokes a lot of thought with this particular book is the fact that there's no such thing as a genius. There's no such thing as someone that's just born successful. It all comes down to all variables. It comes down to the year they were born. It came down to what the era was within that time, what sort of technology was around, how it sort of aligned with the just being at the right place at the right time. I think that's what stuck out for me the most in terms of the book and what it means. And you know what? Let me share my screen. I came across a book summary, and that will kind of help me to get my head back into the game of the book. But then I think this was a good summary as well. So let me just play this real quick.
Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell in 1 minute. Gladwell argues that most successful people have benefited from some hidden advantages. By grasping where successful people have come from, we can understand the secrets behind success. He starts with the 10,000 hour rule. Typically, the best people... Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell in 1 minute. Gladwell argues that most successful people have benefited from some hidden advantages. By grasping where successful people have come from, we can understand the secrets behind success. He starts with the 10,000 hour rule. Typically, the best people have just practiced more. The example he gives is that the Beatles played 1,200 shows before their big break in 1964. They basically just practiced loads and got really, really good. Lesson 1, the problem of genius. He describes how genius has a threshold. Someone with an IQ of 180 probably won't be able to measure real-world advantages to someone with an IQ of 120. He outlined there's a big difference between intellectual intelligence and practical intelligence. Practical intelligence is what gets you places. And the big lesson 2 is around demographic luck. Luck presents you a particular set of opportunities that set you up for greatness. For example, the difference between being born in 1911 and 1915 in the US had a massive impact on people's success because of the Great Depression. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos were all born in a couple of years of one another, and that's not a coincidence. Bill Gates was super lucky because his school acquired a computer far before anyone else in the country had. The computer was limited, but Bill Gates found a way to overcome the system and had unlimited access to it throughout the school holidays. This was the period where he learned about computers and learned how to code during his teenage years, years. He was so obsessed about it all, and by the time he reached adulthood, he had a huge advantage versus everyone else in the space when it came to developing computer software. A really interesting example to me was around Chinese language impacting how Chinese people are better at maths. Chinese people are able to memorize 7-digit sequences nearly 100% of the time, compared with 50% of the time with English speakers. And that's because of the way that numbers are written in the Chinese language. For example, 24 is 2 tens 4. It just creates a more logical way for your brain to memorize things, and again, the knock-on effect of that is huge. It really makes you reconsider your perspective on success and recognize the significance of external factors. Outliers.
Yeah, man. So with that's a really good summary actually, and it really reinforces the reason why this book is so important for me, because at the time of when I first started reading the book is when I first started to write about UK music. Previously, I was a UK music journalist. I would blog about UK music, whether it was rap music, grime, all that sort of good stuff as well. And through that time, it helped me a lot with the process of writing content. I was writing content like all the time. And this was way before the era of, ChatGPT, AI, and all that sort of good stuff that just helps you to just brainstorm and craft content on a faster basis. There was none of that. So it was really me just listening to the music consistently, and writing as I go in terms of understanding the mood that I felt with the music, the sort of story, the narration of the music, and how it sort of aligned and how it was cohesive with the whole project. That sort of stuff was the stuff that got me going. I really enjoyed and loved the process of listening to the music and reviewing it and really providing much more of a scope of what it actually meant at the time. So I was producing so much written content on my blog as well, and it was only me writing. So I was writing every time a new piece of album or a new project will come out, I'm writing about it. And it got to the point where loads of underground upcoming artists would reach out to me directly as well, and I was reviewing their sort of music and their content. So I was in a constant flow and state of writing. I was always writing nonstop. So when it ultimately got to the stage where I kind of dropped that out and I went on to doing other sort of bits and writing about different sorts of content regarding personal branding, personal development, mindset, business, entrepreneurship, all that sort of stuff, it felt easy for me. It felt more aligned with sort of my passion points of writing and being able to put those things together in a way that people can read, and it just stays in the minds of people who invest in their time to read this content as well. So when it got to that stage, it was a lot more easier for me to write content, you see. And I think that this book was something that I always come back to when I realized that a lot of the things that I'd done prior has helped me a lot in terms of what I'm able to do now. That level of consistency and discipline that I've had in all different variations of my life has always played a part in what I'm doing now. So when I say I'm dropping content every single day for 1,000 days, I'm not saying that as some sort of gimmick. I'm saying it because I know I can do it, because I've had so many different examples of when I say I'm going to do something, I'm not going to do it. So when you get to that position where you do what you mean and you mean what you say, then it's a lot more easier for you to do that. But you need to understand, what were you doing previously that has allowed you to learn those sort of skills and those sort of practical things that's in your head, that's embedded in your mind, that can allow you to be able to produce and develop content like this on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So with Outliers as well, I've done a post about it on LinkedIn as well. I'm going to see if I can pop it on the side to just kind of showcase what that was. But ultimately, I realized that the time that we're living in with AI is, I can't even talk. It's game changing. It's crazy. What we have been positioned to do with the tools that we have been given to us is crazy. And it all comes down back to Outliers when it comes down to being at the right place at the right time. You're just born in the era of AI. It's like the Gen Zs, when they were born into a world of social media. So naturally, they can gravitate towards being able to use social media a lot more than the older generation. They know how to just talk directly to the camera like it's nothing, because they're comfortable in doing it, because they've been doing it their whole life. They've had no issues of being able to understand how to use different pieces of tools or technology. within this time frame because they've been in the era where they have not lived a single day without the technology, right? So with that, you need to really understand what it means and based on what have you done throughout your life or what sort of experiences have been presented to themselves that will allow you to future-proof yourself. And with that in mind, AI is the differentiator between what will be the people who end up doing something crazy and something that we just didn't think was possible with the use of AI, and those who are very much against it and scared to use it, right? And when I realized what was happening with the development of AI and the amount of tools and technology being developed and the amount of sort of companies that's been developed and refined with the use of AI, I realized that this is Outliers all over again. This is literally the book saying that the timing with this use of AI technology is going to be the reason for a lot of success stories that we're going to have in the next couple of years. And when I already tell you guys about the deadline, the personal branding deadline, when that bubble bursts on November the 30th, 2027, you will see in real time what has happened, because those who decided to pick themselves up to develop a personal brand, to not only provide leverage for opportunity, but to also provide them that level of job security they need. That is going to be the differentiator between those who actually focused on their personal brand and those who didn't. And we're going to see it in real time. And it's going to be a very scary time, I'm telling you that. But this book has allowed me to identify those particular areas of why AI is going to play an important part in the success of many people's lives. And I'm telling you, if you want to ensure that you become a success story in your own life as well, I recommend that you read Outliers. Read the book, check out the content, and also subscribe because I'll be letting you guys know exactly what tools and what you need to be doing in order to build your personal brand, to future-proof it for more opportunity so you don't get left behind, right? This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here to produce all this good content about. And really and truly, I think it is the utmost importance for you guys to subscribe and to lock in as well, because I am dropping content every single day without fail. I don't know if I'm ever going to get tired of saying it because I'm doing it, so you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, we need to really think about what we have done with our lives. Look back in hindsight. What are those particular key things that you know that you are good at, or the things that you can do that no one else necessarily does or no one thinks to do? Or even with that, what are those things that you do where people look at you and they're thinking, I wouldn't do that, or why would you do that? They're asking you, why would you do that? Excuse me. When I was blogging and I was writing content all the time, no one had a clue why I was doing it, but it provided so much opportunity for me that I would look back and I would say, how fortunate was I to just do it, as opposed to just letting, I suppose, the fear of being scared to do it stop me from actually doing it, to get to the point where I transferred all of those skills and that mindset of posting content to my website, which I produce content from the 7th of August, 2024. Every single Wednesday, I publish content. And now I'm publishing the same content on my Substack. So make sure that you check the description box below and subscribe to my Substack. I'm always writing content on there. But the point of the matter is that what are the things that you've done previously in your life that you can bring back and refine in a way that makes the most sense for you, that can give you that competitive edge in terms of benefiting yourself for years to come? That is the thing that you need to figure out and you need to focus on if you really want to make 2026 a year to remember for yourself, right? And that sort of mindset and that sort of approach is stuff that I take with me, everything I do. And I think it's quite fitting now that now I'm moving it over to the YouTube content side of things, because this is the era that we're living in now, posting daily content. People want to see what you have to say. People want to know how you're feeling about certain topics or those sort of things. And they just want to know what you're up to. They just want to kind of have an insight. And the best way to do that is through just sharing the insights on video and sharing that content with you guys directly. You know what I mean? AI is a fantastic tool, but I wouldn't advise to be doing AI content as daily video uploads, because you're not going to hear me talk like this, you're not gonna be able to resonate just as much from hearing me compared to an AI version of me. And I'm not doing this AI video sort of content because I feel that it takes away from just me being authentic and me just being unedited and just sharing the insights and the knowledge and the know-how in the best way that I know in order to support you guys, you know what I mean? So that's a video for another day. You know, I'm going to do a video on the importance of authenticity in the age of AI. Hold me to that. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to include that video in the next couple of days or so. I'll let you guys know if you're interested. I'll give you guys an update on the Substack. But Outliers, read Outliers, learn from the book, implement the things that you have a competitive edge over, that you know that you can bring to the forefront in terms of your career, in terms of your business, in terms of your content, all those things that make you you. Now it is your time to shine and make it known who you are, what you do, who you serve, the things that you enjoy, the things that you don't particularly enjoy. This is the moment for you to really showcase your personality in the best way, because the deadline is fast approaching and we do not have much time in order to get the ball rolling when it comes down to this content. Because when it gets down to the deadline, once that's done, there will be so many of us who have taken this route of developing our personal brand and have used this as a way to develop content on a regular basis. We will just have the upper hand because we're going to be having so much variations of content that we've developed. That is our intellectual property. That is our material that we can repurpose and reiterate into so many different things just because of AI being the use case. And it can be done much more faster, much more quicker, much more efficient compared to someone who starts very much late and they're still trying to get over the hurdle of even uploading and posting content to begin with. So this whole thing with Outliers is a deeper one. I'm telling you, it's so deep because it really highlights that the moments that we live in, those particular trends and those particular points that we need to focus on is the most important factors. When the news is there, scaremongering, we need to be very much privy to what they're actually trying to say. Because when it comes down to life and business, no matter what happens, it could be a situation, a traumatic experience where there's going to be winners and losers in life and business. And that's just the sad reality of it as well. And when the scaremongering is going on, that's why a lot of people are very forthcoming in effectively going into the eye of the storm, because they know that through going into that part when everyone is particularly scared, that's where the opportunities are made of. That's where the money is generated. That's where the revenue is generated in terms of being there at the right time and being there when no one else was particularly looking or particularly looking to invest or to be immersed in this particular sort of this thing, whatever this thing may be. So all in all, that's it. That's all I'm giving you guys for now. I would highly recommend to check out the book, check out some more summaries and reviews, but this is just my thoughts on why I feel that you should read the book and check it out. And honestly, it's put a lot of things into perspective and it's helped me identify what my roadmap is looking like in terms of being able to develop my £1 million personal brand. And it all comes down to just identifying where I've been. And for me, being able to identify where I've been, now I know where I'm going. I know how I can implement these things that make me stand out to people, because it's just something that I'm naturally good at and something that I can naturally gravitate towards. And with that, once you understand what those things are and how you can incorporate it into your arsenal of what it means, that makes you truly you, unique and special, that can make you stand out to your competitors or your peers, then there's no stopping you. I'm telling you, there's no stopping you. But all in all, that's it, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Enough love, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.